6:38. Y'all know our burden. Oh, there are troubles in the world, but what's more difficult than deciding what you're going to watch with all the content that's out there? You know, I come from an era called the 3-channel universe. I come from a time hundreds of years ago where the choice wasn't yours, the choice was theirs, and you had to accept what was available. This, that, or this.
Good for you.
That's
you
right.
had to-
That's right. I'm bitching. That's right.
You either had to change the channel or fix their rabbit ears on the top.
But you still only got 3 things. That's how I ended up watching Hee Haw every week.
And Lawrence Welk.
You want to know a great website? A great place to go? Go to Decider.com, D-I-C-I-D-E-R, Decider.com. Always great take on what's out there, what's coming back, when it's coming back, what you can see now, what you will see later, all that. And Alex Zalben is good enough to come on, managing editor at Decider.com. I love what you guys do.
Oh, thank you so much. We mostly cover Hee Haw, but I appreciate it.
I'm guessing you're not old enough to remember Hee Haw?
Probably not, no.
Well, let me tell you this. If this segment goes well, I will sing all of the theme to you and several songs that were embedded in my brain because my father watched it.
Oh, boy, that's a lot of pressure, but I'll see if I can deliver.
It's a lot of therapy is what it is. The Crown, the final 6 episodes of The Crown's coming back tomorrow, yeah?
Yeah, that's all going to be on Netflix. This has been running for several seasons now. It's been telling the story of Queen Elizabeth. And, I mean, we know, obviously, how that wrapped up in real life, but you're going to get to see that on screen as they finish up the story. No spoilers here, but it will bring you to the final moments of her life and wrap things up. Certainly, we'll probably have some very strong things to say about the monarchy in England as well. So 6 episodes, all streaming on Netflix on Thursday.
Love The Crown. Love The Crown. One of my favorites. I'm excited that they're going to... I wish it would go on longer, but it obviously
Kate
can't.
and William, right? That's the focus this time, Kate and William?
The last 4 episodes. They started the last 4 earlier this month, and now they're going to finish with Kate and William, right?
Yeah, they're finishing, it's over the course of the life of Queen Elizabeth, so they're going to go pretty much up to the modern era at this point, and I don't think there's any plans for a sequel or giving it any other focus.
Yeah.
But the focus
where else can you go, right?
The Crown 2, now it's personal.
Exactly, right? Kind of a caveat to that, too, which I really like, Alex, is The Gilded Age on HBO, and I'm hoping there'll be a season 3 of that. The finale is Sunday, but what an incredible show.
That show has been huge as well. They moved it from Monday nights to Sunday nights, which was one of the best decisions they made. It just has absolutely exploded this season and seems like one of those signature HBO series now. So much fun, so good. If you haven't checked it out, if you're a fan of things like Downton Abbey, it's from the same creator as that. So well worth the watch. And I can pretty much guarantee there's going to be a season 3 of that.
Excellent.
Let me throw some names at you. You just tell me if they're coming back ever. The Night Agent, a new season of that?
I don't know if we're going to get a new season of that. I could certainly look it up for you, but I feel like that was kind of a one and done at this point.
Yeah, it was entertaining. If you like the Kiefer Sutherland 24 model, and I do, and there's a couple others in that vein I wanted to ask you about. Speaking of Kiefer Sutherland, Rabbit Hole.
Rabbit Hole, unfortunately, I believe, was canceled on Paramount Plus. Clearly a fun, good thriller. I think you can still watch it over there if you like the first season, but I believe that is done at this point.
The Diplomat?
Diplomat definitely coming back. That was an enormous hit.
With Kerry Russell, right?
Thriller. Yeah, with Kerry Russell on Netflix. That was huge, and that's definitely coming back for a second season.
That's good. Okay, you're talking about Paramount Plus. I used to watch Yellowstone, but when it kind of finished, I got rid of Paramount Plus.
What a cluster F this thing turned out to be.
Boy, no kid. Is that coming back? Is that done?
Ooh, that is a complicated situation. So the short answer is yes, Yellowstone is definitely coming back. It's going to be a while until the main series starring Kevin Costner does show up on Paramount. I believe the current goal is to have, if I remember correctly, 6 final episodes that are going to start broadcasting in November. They haven't started filming them or anything like that. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes drama with Kevin Costner and Taylor Sheridan, the creator, reportedly. But at the same time, also rumored the plan is once Kevin Costner exits the show and they wrap that up, they may actually reboot it with most of the same cast starring Matthew McConaughey. So essentially the same show, just subbing out the main actor for a new character. But we'll see what happens. There's a lot of question marks there. But again, the plan is to currently bring back and wrap up the show starting this year.
Yeah, and part of the rumor mill on this is that Kevin Costner's new girlfriend is Jewel. That's out there as well. Just everything you can say related to a hot show. I don't know if it's true or not. I like Kevin Costner. He's always been nice and easy to work with and all that. And Taylor Sheridan appears to be a creative genius, but like many geniuses, a little nuts. So that'll be the backstory. Maybe that's a show. Taylor Sheridan, Am I Nuts?
There you go. Get greenlit by Paramount Plus. I mean, I think he's very particular. He writes a lot of the scripts himself. He doesn't really rely on a writer's room. And that's the sort of thing when you have somebody who says, I have a singular vision, and they've been told repeatedly they are good at it, it can cause a lot of friction behind the scenes. So who knows exactly what's happening in terms of people actually watching the show. You should get to see the final episodes at some point. There's also plenty of Yellowstone spinoffs that are coming to Paramount Plus. So even if in a worst case scenario you never get those final episodes, I am sure you will see more Yellowstone something.
Well, I mean, keeping cattle working has always been a center. I mean, I've always believed in that.
A lot of the movies that are getting Oscar buzz are already streaming, like Naiad, Maestro, May, December.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, which has been pretty great for me as somebody who doesn't make it out to the theater because I have kids too much, so I can just watch the stuff at home. The new big ones that you definitely should check out. You mentioned Maestro. That's actually going to be on Netflix on December 20th. It stars and is directed by Bradley Cooper as Leonard Bernstein in the biopic. It's had some mixed reviews, but you can definitely check it out and see for yourself. Naiad, you mentioned, starring Jodie Foster, is getting some huge Oscar buzz for her and Annette Bening, who's in the star movie as well. This is a biopic also about a swimmer who I believe swam the Atlantic, if I remember correctly. And my reviewer, Anna Mena, who watched it, absolutely loved the movie, thought they were fantastic performances. The other two I'd highly recommend in terms of, one in terms of Oscar buzz is May December is also up on Netflix. That stars Natalie Portman, Julianne Moore, and Charles Melton, who used to be on Riverdale, but is getting the most Oscar buzz.
How about that?
Yeah, he was good.
For his performance. Yeah, he's fantastic. That is based, at least in part, on the Mary Kay Letourneau case from back in the day. It's funny, dark, very upsetting at points. Really worth checking out that one as well.
I know you're tight on time here, but we come back. There's several more that are currents we need to talk about, and a few more about what their likelihood of ever coming back is, if we can continue. Decider.com. It's Alex Zalben, who's good enough to give us some time this morning. Stick around. Alex Zalben from Decider.com joins us. Alex, a long time ago, what they did was they would have somebody come on and they'd tell you what's coming up on the radio. And they could only give you the next few hours. Because, the internet wasn't invented yet. You know the drill.
Yeah. Beautiful voice singing hee-haw, by the way. That was you just before, right?
Yes, exactly. All right, let me hit you with a few more of the old shows. Shrinking. Coming back, Harrison Ford?
Shrinking is coming back. I love that show.
Me too.
That was so funny, from the same team behind Ted Lasso on Apple TV+. We don't know exactly when yet. I don't believe they've started filming, but they definitely have the second season mostly scripted out. So that should be sometime later next year.
Lincoln Lawyer.
Lincoln Lawyer definitely coming back as well. That was another huge hit for Netflix. The second season aired and killed it just like the first season. So we're definitely getting a third season of that.
The Bear.
The Bear, 100% coming back. I believe they confirmed that recently, though, again, we don't really know the schedule on that one. I would assume sometime in 2024 we'll be getting a third season of that restaurant-based comedy drama.
That is such a great show. I love The Bear.
I agree. I like it. But, man, I've come across so many people that are polarized by it. People that hate it or people that love it.
Because it's very, it could kind of give you anxiety. Just there's so much going on and so many people
you just
talking.
Don't want to see in the kitchen how your food's made.
It's just, there's a lot going on. Also on Hulu, can I ask about The Patient and Julia?
Julia, I don't think we're sure yet. The second season is just finished, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So, or is actually still running. I think there's a new episode tomorrow. So we should probably hear about that soon either way. And what was the other one?
The Patient with Steve Carell. Very disturbing.
Oh, that was a one and done. That was one of my absolute favorite series that has come out over the past year or so.
Mine too.
Intense two-character drama on Hulu. Definitely check it out. But yeah, there's no plans for a second season on that.
Justified.
Justified, that's another big question mark as well. I think City Primeval, the sequel series that came back, no spoilers here, but definitely left things open in a big way for more if they want to do it. But at this point, I think that's really up to the creators working with FX. FX is a channel that supports creators. If they have an idea and they're really bullish about it, they'll do it. If they don't, they're not going to force it.
A couple of textures here. Susan, Handmaid's Tale.
Handmaid's Tale is finishing up, if I remember correctly, with one last season, and they're still ostensibly working on a spin-off of the series called The Testaments. I don't know where they are on that, but Handmaid's Tale, I'm guessing, will probably be back sometime next year. The Testaments, TBD.
That is a great show. Elizabeth Moss is just fantastic. Yeah.
It's sort of a freaky fest. Mm-hmm. And then the Oklahoma Sopranos, Tulsa King. This is another texture.
Tulsa King, I believe, is coming back for a season 2. Let me look up what the date is really quickly. It's definitely been renewed, but I don't know where they are on that production-wise. So again, probably sometime next year. A lot of things have been held up because of the strikes that were going on the past couple of months. So
it's catch-up time.
Normally say, it's coming up in January, coming up in February. At this point, it's more sometime in 2024, question mark. We'll see.
I know you were talking about some of the family-related things that are coming out, Nick, like Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget.
Yeah, my kids are so excited for that one, and also, honestly, I have as well. This is a much belated sequel to the 2000 claymation comedy from Aardman Animation, Chicken Run. Here, the chickens are all back. You will hear some new voices. Some of the old voices didn't come back for this movie, but they're fighting a new menace that is trying to turn them into pies. These movies are always goofy.
They're great.
Fun.
They're great.
I just love the claymation. It's
cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
Nick, you are mostly allowed to watch children's TV. Do you have any children's TV questions?
Well, is there any new series, children, why? And we're talking about ages like, 5, 6, 7 years old.
I don't know if there's anything new in particular that I'd highlight, but the one that probably everybody knows about, and if you don't, I'll mention anyway, is Bluey, which is mostly all on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah.
That is just a funny, wonderful show.
Yeah, it's well done.
It's for little kids, but adults watch it.
Yeah, it seems like there's some hidden jokes in there for adults.
Right? Something not for kids. I'm thrilled True Detective is coming back, and that's next month, right, Alex?
Yeah, that's coming back to HBO next month. It's now called True Detective Night Country. This is ostensibly the 4th season, but like the first 3 seasons, it's its own done-in-one thing. This comes from all new creators. Jodie Foster is starting, and without blowing up any spots, one of our reviewers did get to check out some episodes and said, it's awesome. If you skipped the 3rd season, which was pretty good, though I know a lot of people did, if you were turned off by the 2nd season, this is a return to form for the show, so definitely get excited.
And listen, I don't want to go down a road here because I have nothing but respect for Jodie Foster, but they did ask me to do it.
Oh.
And I said, will there be nudity? And they said, no, we'd like you to wear more clothes. And I had to say no. Leave the World Behind, Netflix, yeah?
Yeah, that's on Netflix now. This is one of my favorite movies that I've watched this year. It comes from Sam Esmail, the guy behind Mr. Robot. It stars Ethan Hawke, Julia Roberts, Mahershala Ali, who was on the 3rd season of True Detective, tying that in. This is a apocalypse thriller, question mark. It's also a little bit of a comedy. It's got a bunch of commentary about the world. I found it to be incredibly watchable, incredibly interesting, and people are fighting about it so much online because everybody has a different interpretation about what's happening, what goes on in the movie. But I thought Julia Roberts was great. I thought Ethan Hawke was great. There's a great guest turn from Kevin Bacon in it as well. You can check that out on Netflix right now.
And aren't the Obamas involved in this somewhere?
They produced it, right?
Yeah. The Obamas have a production company called Higher Ground. So they produced it. The only involvement they really had in the movie, reportedly, is they sent notes and apparently told Sam Esmail, hey, you can push this even harder if you want. There's a lot of stuff about cyber attacks, about fear of the other, about terrorist attacks and things like that. So they certainly gave some input there to make some of the things more realistic, but they didn't, they weren't writing the script. They don't guest star or anything like that. They're just behind the scenes executive producers.
And Taylor Swift turns 34 today. Is her Eras Tour movie going to be streamed?
Sure is. You can't buy it yet, but you can rent it online for the price of $19.89. Shouts out to her 1989 album. This is the Eras Tour movie that absolutely crushed it in theaters a couple of months back. Now you can watch it at home, and there are 3 additional songs that you can get. So Taylor Swift fans have already been up since 3 a.m. this morning watching it several times. But if you're not a Swiftie, you can still check it out at any point and rent it later on today on every major platform.
And this is one that I'll leave you with that a lot of people might not agree with. I love Ron Livingston. Anything Ron Livingston does, I'll watch it. Think Office Space back in the day. He did a show a few years ago called Louder Milk, which is about addiction. And Will Sassa is amazing. And it's got a very cool cast. Brian Regan, my pal Brian Regan, I didn't know he could act. Very funny stand-up comedian. He's great in it. And I'd recommend it. And I think that's Prime.
3 seasons out. All 3 seasons are on Prime Video right now. Yeah. So totally agree. Great, fun, dramatic show, and I love it as well.
I hope you'll come back. You're really great, and I appreciate the extra time.
Oh, for sure. Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure. And then I'll go check out Hee Haw after this.
Yeah.
Gloom, despair, and agony on me. Thank you, man.
Thanks,
The
Alex.
Decider, thedecider.com. Alex Zalben. He is great.